Alright, guys, I do have some bad news to tell you. The bad news is that one of my friend's Twitter account was temporarily restricted for no reason. And we don't know what is happening, and I must say that Twitter does restrict some accounts. It depends. It's either you violated the rules or they just permanently suspend your account for a reason like that. Now, we don't know what is happening to Twitter right now when they are restricting accounts. As you may know, what I saw in the afternoon, I saw my friend's account being restricted. Like, say for example, caution, this account is restricted. Now, I'm not really going to show it to you because it's a wrongful thing for me to do, but I have no choice to announce this. Unfortunately for that, the Hell Fanboys account was the one being restricted on Twitter. Now, we do not know why it was restricted, but when I apparently did see right here, we temporarily don't know why. Like, why is it restricted? I need some answers. I need some clues, like that. Like, we don't know why his account was restricted, and we don't know why his following goes down to zero. Now, it is temporarily important for a restricted account. It's because you're seeing a warning. Does this mean you're going to have unusual activity in this account? Unfortunately not. You see, he didn't do anything wrong. And what I was really going to say is that Twitter, you can't really blame a person for doing all these kinds of stuff, especially restricting someone from their Twitter account. This is so wrong. Even though people do have the same problem and they do have like people's account getting restricted, are you really going to restrict a person's account for no reason? They didn't do anything wrong, so how does it even violate the rules? Well, once you see the likes button, you just view the profile and you just see that there's 0 likes and 0 following. So eventually this does happen to a lot of restricted accounts, especially some Twitter users. Now, what I'll just say is that they didn't do anything wrong, but I'm gonna say this. Why would you do this to my friend? Like, why would you do this to my friend Twitter? Why? Why would you do that? You know he did not do anything wrong, Twitter. And I gotta say, restricting other people's account? Now that is one of the unacceptable things people would do. And I'm gonna say this, Hell Fanboy 2004, I'm really sorry about your Twitter account being temporarily restricted. It is not your fault. I know Twitter does all these kinds of things is because I'm not really that sure what is going to happen to your account now if it's temporarily restricted, but I do believe that just try not to give up on yourself. And apparently you do good content. And I just saw the posts, they were really good, but there's no reason why Twitter had to restrict your account, Michael. So eventually, what I was gonna say is that Twitter restrictions do happen to a lot of people, and that's the cause of me losing like a lot of likes. So eventually, why am I saying this? Well, because Twitter did this just because of a glitch. And I'm gonna say this, Twitter, please stop restricting my friend's account. Please stop already. Shame on you for what you've done, Twitter. Temporarily restricting my friend's account if they didn't break any rules? This is so wrong. And you caused me to be upset with over a thing, Twitter? So eventually for the violations on Twitter, I'll just say that Twitter definitely did restricted my friend's account for no reason. Not because he apparently did post like a bad thing, but he didn't. Now what I was gonna say is that it's apparently through why people would say it, but definitely what I was gonna say is that Twitter, you have really done a wrongful thing. Just restricting my friend's account for a reason like that. Why would you do that, Twitter? Why would you do that? Like, I mean, why? Why would you do that to Hell Fanboy 2004's account? You know better than this, Twitter. It is not his fault. And just because he posted like a lot of these things doesn't violate the rules. What is your problem, Twitter? And apparently, what I was gonna say is that there's a duration of the Twitter account. It differs, depending on the violation you committed. When you see an error message saying that your account is restricted, some features have been limited. So it show you how long you get fully functioning back. This may take up to 12 hours or 7 days. Now, for my friend's account, apparently this took around 12 hours because this is temporarily. So I'm not really that sure what is going to happen now, but I do believe, in my opinion, that his account was restricted temporarily, but I think what I was gonna say is that maybe he didn't violate any rules. And Twitter, what is wrong with you? Violating someone's account and locking it, restricting his account for no reasons? Well, this is pure wrong, Twitter. Why would you do that to my friend? Why? He did not do anything wrong. And apparently what I was gonna say is that yes, the Hell Fanboy didn't do anything wrong. And unfortunately, what I was gonna say is that don't ever try to blame Twitter, and don't ever try to blame on yourself. If this is going to happen to my friend's account, I'm seriously gonna have enough of this, because Twitter keeps on restricting some people's accounts. I'm getting really upset now. And if this is going to happen again and again and again, then I totally had enough with this kind of account on Twitter, that they just want to restrict some people's accounts. So apparently, in my opinion, what I was gonna say is that they do restrict some people's account for a reason. But is it the fact that they do that? Well, according to my opinion, yes, they do. They do restrict people's account for a reason, especially on Twitter. Now, I'm not really going to lie, guys. This really happens to a lot of people. Now, it is definitely for the fact that people would do these kinds of things just because you want to restrict a person's account for a reason. You are totally wrong, Twitter. You are totally wrong, Twitter. Why would you do that? Why would you restrict my friend's flippin' Twitter account like that? You know better than that, Twitter. Now, I'm not going to be mean to you guys, but this definitely does happen a lot, and I just wanted to say this before I sign off. I'm really sorry for what happened to Nahel Fanboy 2004's Twitter account in the afternoon when I checked. It was definitely restricted because I'm not really that sure what is happening, but I just wanted to say this. I'm so sorry about what happened. I know it's not your fault, and apparently you didn't do anything wrong. So if Twitter does this kind of thing again to your account, then you probably have to create another backup, because one time my account got hacked by Shibanokin, but luckily I managed to get my account back. It was definitely suspended temporarily, but I managed to create a backup account. So guys, that's all I really need to say for now about what happened to my friend's Twitter account. And don't worry, if Twitter does these kinds of things again, don't try to hesitate, okay? We're all in this together, and I know it is not anyone's fault. Any Twitter account can happen if they get restricted. But anyways, guys, this is me, Wheeling the Tomboy Gamer, signing off.